All right, should all be live, but I'm just gonna keep on waiting and tweet out a thing here while I wait to confirm we are live. Let's see. We are live. Sweet. That's confirmed. We'll let people kind of hop in here, stagger along. All right, now this video, this live show, this program will most likely be different than what I normally do because this will probably just be a pure lineup construction type of video, despite the fact I won't really show anything on my screen. Why is whatever. The reason I'm saying that is this is a great example of a live stream where you guys do not need me, nor do you need to say, what about this driver? What do you think of this guy? Hey, Brandon, what about this dude? What do you think of this fella? Okay, so when we're looking at this slate, let me go ahead and get this up on the screen. Let me see. Let me get this up on the screen. So when we're looking at this slate here, okay, we're at 147 laps, which is, I'm pretty sure, identical to what we did yesterday in the Truck Series, which is very, very small for this series. Anyway, when we're looking at these guys up here, in terms of lap leader, Cole Custer, Creed, and Smith, I personally like Smith more. I think he is I think he's the main favorite to win. I really like Creed here. Okay, I think he has a real chance of beating Chandler Smith. I think this is Creed's best chance to get a win. Okay, and now I said I really like him. That means I'm going to probably have 10, 15% Sheldon Creed. I'm probably, because I think Chandler Smith is better, probably going to have 10, 15% Chandler Smith. Okay, when you put that together, that's 6 of my 20 lineups between these two lap leaders. This is a race where I think it is going to be a slow burn. I think it is very much a place differential race, and I think it is very much similar to a plate race. Now, we're not entirely stacking the entire back half, but in terms of projecting where ownership will fall is much more important for me in this race than truly anything else, really. And so let me go ahead and bring up one thing over here on the side. And so Sheets has his stuff up. I have my stuff up as well. But I'm just going to kind of talk out loud here, talking about everybody. And so we're going to highlight the people who have the place differential upside, regardless of what their pricing is. That is not even important today. Okay. The fact that we have big, bad Chad Fincham in a, guy behind me just died car. Okay. So we got to get this run in there at Atlanta to get this W. Like, come on, he's practically in an Earnhardt car, post-mortem Earnhardt car, 4,500. Okay, we have Dawson Cram at 46, and we have Haley Deegan at 54. Now, when you look at the rest of that range, okay, the reason why we typically like Ryan Ellis, why we like Leland, why we like Poole, oddly enough, like this is where metric qualifying can show you where people kind of just fall in line at. Like this is where these guys run. Okay. Ryan Ellis typically queues like 31st. Leland Honeyman typically queues like 32nd. That's why we play these individual drivers on a week-to-week basis, because they have enough upside to possibly get us like 25, 26, 27 points. The fact that they're starting where they should be in terms of speed makes them unplayable. Okay. And so when we're looking at the bottom half of the salary here, we are just looking at, actually, we could just go ahead and look at this screen here. So I have it lined up based on cues. Let me go here. Okay, when we're looking here, like based on where they're starting, we're not playing Patrick starting 28th. We're not playing Ryan Ellis starting 20th. We're not playing Leland. So like we can just go ahead and remove these little goobers from the pool. We're not playing Poole from 31st. We're not playing Star from 27th. We're not playing Sieg from 29th. Now, Kyle Weatherman has the rare opportunity to get the dead crew member Juju boost before the person actually dies. I believe Kyle Weatherman's mother-in-law currently has been giving days to live But there's not enough data to support the boost before somebody dies. Plus, he's starting 15th, so I just don't see Weatherman being in play at all. So as we move through and go ahead and just kind of hover over and remove these fellows from the screen, okay, you quickly see that. Let me make sure 33, 30. Okay, so when we're looking here, like these are your individual drivers that you will be building with in the back of the field. Okay, regardless of what you think about any of these guys, the fact that they are here purely based on salary from 54 to 45, that's all you need. Okay, either any of these drivers are going to work perfectly fine. I don't have a favorite, and I frankly don't care who you get to more of. I'm going to be very spread out between these individual drivers, but actually, I'm not going to be playing. I'm probably not going to. Perkins is probably my least favorite. I'm going to leave him up here because he's in the 40, or he's in this price range that we need to pay attention to. But I am probably going to not be playing Perkins. I see that Remo is like, what did he just say? The dead crew member Juju boost. Okay. For those that don't know, okay, typically, whenever a driver has a crew member, a family member, anybody die in close ownership, or not ownership, in close proximity to the driver, they typically win or perform astronomically better than they do in general. Look it up. Like it's insane. It other than um Ryan, what's his name? Who cries? Who cries a lot? He's racing in Europe right now. He used to race for JD Motorsports. I just went blank. What's his name? The guy who cries all the time from JD Motorsports. I need help here. I cannot remember this guy for the life of me. What is his name? He's always. Anyway, he wrecked at Pocono, didn't work. Every time, everything. Not even in like the betting spear. Not even in the betting like market, like in racing across the board, it is unusually high following a death in the family. Um, so like probably if she can die like on Thursday or Friday, we're gonna want to slam Weatherman. Oh, actually, they're not even at North Wilkesboro, so actually the boost doesn't even matter. So anyway, continuing on with place differential here. When we're looking at the bottom of the field, this is where we're at. So we're just building lines with one or two of these guys. The reason being this is so important is because when we start looking at the place differential play, okay, now I'm gonna mark out Allgaier, Custer, Sheldon Creed, Chandler Smith here, not because they're not playable, but for what we're talking about here, they are not in play, or they don't need to be on the screen because you're chasing them if you believe that they're going to run away with the race. Which I think the only two guys who would realistically do that would be Chandler Smith or Sheldon Creed. Okay, so we're not playing Austin Hill. We're not playing Sam Mayer. We're not playing AJ. We're not playing Riley Herbst. Okay, we're not playing Anthony Alfredo. We're not playing Jeb Burton. We're not playing Jeremy Clements. Okay, so now we get to a point to where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So this is the pool of drivers where we're forced to go to. Realistically, or this is the pool of drivers that can realistically score, 40s, mid 40s, high 50s and stuff just from the place differential or getting to where they should finish. Like, for example, like Jesse Love, Quaffle, and Jones are very much on the fringe of that, but they're very much better plays heads up compared to a lot of these guys down here, a lot of these guys up here. Like, and so the reason why I'm like, this is a live construction video, I want to figure out how to get different here in a slate that has not a potential to be chalky, but I want as many unique lineups as possible. Okay. I don't necessarily just want to be like, okay, I'm going to play William Byron. I'm going to play Nemechek. I'm going to play Taylor Gray. I'm going to play Sammy Smith, and like so on and so forth. Like I really want to try and get at least two min uniques in most of my line, and I hand build. Okay, so like that's another aspect. You'd be like, you just use the damn optimizer. Like I hand build here, and so that's how I go through and look at this stuff. And so how do I get different, especially when we're looking at Byron? Pretty much like it doesn't even matter if he wins the race. It doesn't even matter where we're at. I need to copy this and open it up over here. Because I need to check something. When we look at the expectation that Byron is probably going to score anywhere from like 58 to probably realistically 68 points, if not a bit higher, due to fast laps they can potentially get in this race. We have a real chance that Nemechek is going to score like right around like 58, 57, 60, 62, somewhere around there. So the pricing isn't an issue here, especially when we have practically guys starting dead last at min salary. That doesn't necessarily matter. So like Byron's a great play. I don't really like if he was running this race straight up. Kewen pretty unplayable, starting like 10th, 11th, 12th, whatever, starting dead last for 12K in the Hendrick car, just based on speed alone, going to get you up to 13th in that alone. Like it doesn't even matter if he doesn't have practice or whatever. The Taylor Gray and Sammy Smith at 77 and 75 practically work their way into any line, very similar to the Ankrum and Raja Caruth yesterday, where just based on the salary, they fit in nearly everything. And so when I'm actively paying attention to how people are playing, I'm going to try and get different in this range personally. I would probably lean more, or at least getting different. I don't really want to try and have Taylor Gray or Sammy Smith in every single one of my lines, not because of what happened yesterday, but because I think the ownership is going to centralize around these individual drivers. And so I'm either going to, like, if I'm speaking out loud, if I'm playing Byron and Nemechek, if I'm playing both Gray and Smith together, well, then I need to play somebody like Garrett Smithley. I need to play somebody like Josh Williams. I need to play somebody like Blaine Perkins to counteract or counterbalance the ownership that I have between these four drivers. If I'm not playing both of these guys together, where I'm just playing one or the other, then it makes a lot of sense to go to Jones. I mean, I think Jones, I think this is one of his better tracks in general when you look at how he runs in the races. The results have not shown it as of late in the past couple of years, but I like Jones. I certainly think Ryan Sieg has a chance to certainly score very similar to these guys. Shane is going to carry pretty much no ownership. And so when you're looking at a race that has, or when you're looking at a lineup that has like chalk, 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 whatever happens down here, and then just a one-off like Shane or like a one-off, Jesse Love, like those are the types of lines that I'm going to try and prioritize uh, today. I just really want to focus on ownership in that aspect there. Let's go ahead and go back over here. We actually need to clear that so when I come back later, I can see all these stuff. But I mean, that's really it. We're kind of in and out in 12 minutes. That's the major or I practically covered how you want to approach this race. And so past that, I'm just going to be trying to find like one-off guys that aren't like incredibly like horrific plays. Like I think Austin Hill, Sammy Smith, all the guys that I blacked out, or not Sammy Smith, Sam Mayer, like those guys are pretty negative EV plays. Whereas like, I mean, maybe I do need to be open and just play like pure chalk plays and go to like Patrick Emerly and just hope like some of these guys are into issues in the value range or something. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. Let's see where you guys are at here. Let's see. BG3. It's very rare that I have 3 to 4 guys in lineups that are wrecked out. Even at Daytona, like I very rarely even run into that. That was awesome. Shout out to Brixby in the Discord who didn't lose as much money as everybody else because he played both Ross Chastain and like Kyle Busch, like overexposed to both of them. And I was like, you're playing 40 chess, my guy. You were such big brained. You played so much Kyle Busch that even though he wrecked out, you physically could not get the cash to play everybody else who got involved in the big wreck off of too. So you made money. Like it's insane. That was I mean, it just, that's these over the road truckers, man. They're gonna pull stuff like that. Which, like, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the game we play. Thank you, Pirate. I'm glad that you have that uh mentality. That's where I'm at. Yeah, so Taylor Gray, his truck driver died, and he destroyed the ARCA field. That was the last one we had last year. Um, Next one before that, you could say before, like, Ty Gibbs wins the championship. Uh, Weeks prior, he called himself God, and then, God calls his dad to heaven. Chase Briscoe had a miscarriage several years ago in the Xfinity series. Then he went out and just destroyed the field out of, with speed in that particular season to where he wasn't showing that type of speed. And then just various other situations of not even wins, but just, people performing well. Like it's a real thing. If I was still on my own, like dead crew member Juju shirts were in the cards. I highly doubt I can get that made here. So we're gonna have to just go with I just want to see a flip shirt when I get that stuff done. But it is a real thing. Check it out. Um, uh, Snyder, Snyder. Did I don't. You have to clarify what you're asking there, Sterling. Oh, Vargas. Yes, yes. Ryan Vargas is his name. Ryan Vargas is the outlier because he did not perform well following, I think, either a crew member or like the truck member dying. Uh, because he got involved in a wreck at Pocono. That is the one time it has not actually worked. Um, let's see. So it's interesting you say like Williams because my issue with Williams is that like like really the real popular play is going to be um here we'll just kind of build, not even finish it on stream. We'll just also since I got practically $100 left from or got it back from the race last year, I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do the 5. Fuck it, who cares? That $100 was lost anyway. I'll just throw it in the 5. I don't give a shit. We'll run 20 in the 5 today. But like my issue with Williams comes from like this type of stuff because Williams is like 62 and you're at 65 here. A lot of people are going to probably be drawn. Like, I mean, Williams is like absolute ass. This guy is horrific. This guy's absolute garbage. Um, but like if you've been playing him in DFS, like he has like certainly never ever hindered your lineup at all. So like recency bias might bring him in there, like Ryan Sieg might bring him in there, Matt DiBenedetto, like DiBenedetto, Williams, Sieg. Like if you're building with like this amount left, I really do fear that like you're gonna land on him. Either your hand building or optimizer are gonna land on him. I don't really have a favorite play in this range. My way, at least for me personally, I want to get different kind of in the mid range here because there's a lot of like like I said, when I went through, like, get different with Smithley, maybe get different with Balicki. Those are like the only differences you can do down here that like aren't, having your lineup be dead on arrival. So I have no doubt that like Williams will certainly be your probably best play. I just, once we're like splitting hairs and really deep in lineups and stuff and really trying to figure out where ownership is going to go, that's what I was going to look at. I was going to see what my keyboard was. Dude, my mouse died. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, it did not die. I just didn't click that notification. Let's see. I want to check ownership out here. So literally everybody that you would expect to carry ownership will carry ownership. I'm looking at Cheat's projected ownership because he typically has a pretty good lie of where we're at here. But, you have like Byron and Nemechek, and then you have quite a bit of a drop off. Which that isn't totally written in stone. But yet again, like as I started, you have a player pool of right around like 20 guys who you could realistically like use with Rex, without Rex, whatever. Like, I think just getting different in one spot in your lineup is going to be huge today. And I think this is a situation or this is a slate rather, to where I think you should absolutely embrace just having like some wild play in one of the line in one position. Like I think that is how you have to approach this slate. I think anything else but that is just negative EV. And and I'd like to go check. I haven't done it I didn't do it last night post race because that's wild with all the wrecks. But my hypothesis during the slate was I didn't think we were going to have a solo winner, even after Ankrum ran into issues, which at that point it's very iffy for me to say that because we had so many people off sequence, and we had that wreck, so I wasn't able to really get a good feel post Ankrum having an issue, although I still kinda lean that way. But when Ankrum and Raja was still in the race, like, I just didn't think we'd have a solo winner last night. I have nothing to prove that right now, and it's certainly harder now that everybody wrecked out, and I just haven't been able to go through the data yet. But I have the same feeling today. Now, that's not saying solo winner of, like, a huge train like 50 something, but I think most realistic winning lines might have, like, a duplication of, like, 4 to 8. Um, and I think that's just why you wanna prioritize getting different today. Is it a 20 or 10K to first today? Because man, if it's 20, that's when you wanna get different. That's when you wanna get wicked wild. Let's see. It is a yeah, it's a 20 to first. Yeah, I think you gotta focus on being unique today, man. I think that's my real take. What we at here? No, I mean, dude, Vargas is just an interesting fellow. I don't comment on looks a lot, but he's an interesting looking fellow. Uh, I mean, even like so, like, and, I mean, even like, when we're looking at like Jesse Love, Quaffle, Jones, and this is just me. Like, I'd like to use Jones to get different, but same story with Love and Quaffle here. Like, there's a real chance, you know, depending on if there isn't a lot of issues, any one of these guys can finish in the top 7 and not work, man, because they're gonna be outscored by Gray and, Sammy Smith. I don't know, I actually really, really like this slate from a, like, build perspective. Covering it, I mean, there's not really much to say, but I think this is a very, very fun slate to build for, and I'm gonna be very curious on what ownership ends up coming in at, and this okay, so, like, also, step back a little bit or a little bit. This will be a great race to pull the data from and look at how players play. Okay. Now, some people really dislike this type of content. Same thing with like Sims. You have your guys who love talking about. You have people who don't. This is a slate that I want to pull lineups from, and I want to see how people play. I want to see players' own distribution to drivers. I am very, very curious on how people are going to play, like Big T, Rubio, Stukas, you Sterling. Like this is a slate to where probably Monday morning, I will be pulling this slate, and I want to see how you guys are playing. I think this is a great slate to look in the mind of maybe not even mine, but like the process of how people play. I'm very, very curious. I think this is a perfect slate for that because you have enough like chalk plays that not one is more important than the other one. You have very much people that you can be aggressive up top with Custer Smith, Creed, uh, Allgaier, but you have to make the conscious decision to want to have ownership to them. Like it's very much a slate to where none of the guys front could work if they keep swapping the lead and stuff. And so I don't even care if those lineups work. I want to see the exposure rate to Creed, to Chandler Smith, to Allgaier that individual players have. Like this is why I'm kind of more excited for this slate, more so from like a content perspective, just because I can use this as a really, really good example to see how people are playing, getting different. If they're not getting different, if they're just going overweight, like I am very, very excited for this slate to come here. Um, let's see what else. Charles, what are we doing, man? Absolutely, absolutely the wrong question to be asking today. Um, let's see what else. I mean, I think I about covered everything. Like I said, I typically like being live for long. Let me make sure. All right, cool. Practice the pull it. I mean that's really it. I don't know. I'm very, very excited for this slate. I really want to see how people approach it. This is gonna be, and maybe you've never done that before. I think this is one where I probably would not do it in the 4 or the 1. I think this is specifically, if you've never done it, look pull the CSV from the $10 and check out how people are playing. This is gonna be a really, really fun slate to look at and see how people approach. I'm more excited about that than probably anything else. And I think that's about it. Do you guys have any more questions or anybody specific? I know I started it with like, you shouldn't be asking me about this, but like, I don't know. Like, I don't think you can play Herbst today, but Maybe that's your guy to get different. I don't know. Um, yeah, I don't know. I like Jones, and even I'm saying that, I was like, okay, cool. I'll have Jones in, like 4 lines. Like it's gonna be so interesting. I think for the most part, at least speaking out loud, the Byron, Nemechek, Gray, Sammy Smith. Who else? Eric is difficult because even on raw points, he can be outscored by a lot of people. You need Eric to actually perform well, so I can't throw him into that. But like probably these 4 drivers, I have to imagine I'm going to end up being like 65 on each, 65, 70% on each. Um, Mainly due to the fact that I don't think Nemechek or Byron eclipse 50 each. I think we'll probably see them right around probably like 47, 49, maybe 51, 52. But I can't envision Nemechek or Byron being near 60, you know. I think they're great plays, so I'm gonna land probably at 60, 65, if not 70 on each of those guys. Same thing with Sammy Smith and Gray. I can't see those guys coming in higher than like 38 each, 42 each, which even then that's pushing it hard because when you're looking at a slate in terms of what projected ownership can be at, and if I'm rambling here, I mean, do tell me to stop. This is just kind of how I think things through. When you have a slate like this to where, we identified the 20 guys in the pool, we understand Byron and Nemechek are looking like phenomenal plays. While, yes, there are going to be quite a lot of lineups that have both of them together, once you get a situation where you also have Sammy Smith and Taylor Gray, who are projecting very well in terms of their pricing, okay? So that's 4 drivers that are looking pretty good. In terms of build-wise, like, most lineups will not have those 4 drivers in it. Okay, it's so you're like 1v1 in a lot of between those 2 drivers, whether it's like a 2v2 or 1v1, whatever the case may be. Just visualizing how ownership shakes down. I think all 4 of these individual drivers come in lower than what they should be. Okay. Um, because yet again, we're trying to, get different or make a pivot or whatever. But if I'm at 60% on all these drivers and I'm basically having 3 of them in nearly every lineup, um, and then, you know, getting different in the value range, getting different in like a one-off 7K range, like that's how I would want to approach it. Or that's what I'm going to do to approach it rather, because I don't think the ownership that we see in the contest, um, I don't think it'll be high. Excuse me. I think it's going to be lower than what it should be for those individual drivers for these 4 here. Um, that's just kind of how I think about it or whatever. What is it? Where can I find a link to you Discord man? Well, it is in the description of the video. You also get it when you join uh, TrueDFS.com. Now, the link in the description, the Discord link in the description only gives you access to the free channels. Okay, and to be frank, I never spend any time in there, y'all. I want you to spend some money to get in there. Mainly because I'm available 24/7. Like if you are a paying customer, I will do anything you ask me to do, outside of asking me questions like an hour before lock, because that I got my own stuff to worry about then. But like if you're a paying customer, I will answer whatever you need. Um, let's see, past that. Uh, Thank you, Sterling, for also helping there. Thoughts on Leland? Practically unplayable. Uh, Unplayable on Leland. I would advise you to go to the beginning. I mean, this is a short video. We are half an hour in. Go back, start in the beginning. I think I do a fantastic walkthrough. Watch it on 2x. You'll be perfectly fine in 15 minutes. I think that's where I'm going to do. Thoughts on Almirola? Okay, so the Almirola discussion. Okay, when we're looking at Eric Almirola, I have Eric projected for 54.65 points. The reason why I'm answering that with the exact answer, the exact projection I have, that is roughly like a 6th, 7th place projection with, just over 10 fast laps, right? Okay, now, when you're looking at him at 54, if there is a runaway leader, he's not only just competing against Chandler Smith, Creed, guys up front, he's also directly competing against Nemechek and Byron. He's also competing against the raw points that Sammy Smith, Taylor Gray, Matt DiBenedetto, Josh Williams, that those guys can also do. There's a lot of ways Eric Almirola gets forced out of and this is also one where I do want to chase the optimal. I'm going to try and do that. Real chance that Eric Almirola gets priced out of the optimal lineup. That doesn't mean he's not a bad play, but there are a lot of things working against Eric Almirola on a price range that would limit my personal ownership to like 25%. That's probably what I'm going to do with Eric Almirola. And that's not even including that. He really, and I hate when it's like, well, he's got to finish top 5 to be there, because like everybody's got to do something decent to score well. But this is one where like Eric Almirola has to finish like 4th today, like to have a chance without like any fast laps, any laps led. That's like his best chance of like trying to squeeze his way in there. If he does anything less than that, he's not going to kill you. And I think you can very easily cash with Eric Almirola today. But I would have to put his like optimal lineup chance. I mean, what does my stuff have him at? Because I know my stuff would probably like him, but not in a sense of like wanting to play him. Yeah, like I would expect Eric Almirola to be optimal maybe anywhere from 5 to 8% of the time. So, you probably want like 22 to 25% ownership to him on that. And past that, probably call it a day. That's just how my mind works of how I would rationalize having him or playing him or whatever. I have no idea, Sterling. Probably. I know he won. I'll be honest. I have no idea. I'll be honest. I have no clue what race Eric Almirola just won, and I know he just won this year. I do not remember. Let me go and take a look, and then I'll end the stream here because I do have to build. We got 2 hours and 13 minutes until lock. Let's pull this over. Let's find it out together, boys. Let's see. Where did he won? He won at Martinsville. Holy fuck. No wonder I didn't. I was like, what? What highway racetrack did he win? He's from fucking Martinsville. Jesus. Okay. So that doesn't necessarily help us. Anyway, those are my opinions. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you guys at 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Talk Cup Series. I know practice is going on. I haven't seen anything from it. If anybody wrecked, anybody messes up in Q at the moment, I don't know about it. I'm going to assume, or I'll at least say that I'll probably have the Cup Series stuff up a bit earlier today than normal because I have somewhere to be tonight. So, and I have no idea when I'm going to get back. So I'll probably do the projections at like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. Past that, best of luck, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.